Good evening. I'm Jerry Custin, Director of the Florida Suncoast Manufacturers Association, and we're here to celebrate our 5th Annual Manufacturers Awards. What we do is come here and celebrate the strength of our regional manufacturing sector and those who are really out there supporting it. And tonight I'm joined by our guest speaker, Laurie Moncrieff. She's the Executive Director of Defensewerx, and you'll be excited to hear about that. And also I'm joined by Roy Sweatman, who's President of Southern Manufacturing Technologies. And Roy is one of our region's ardent advocates for all things manufacturing. Thanks for coming, Laurie and Roy. And we're interested in having our viewers learn a little bit more about the fascinating work of Defensewerx. And Laurie, why don't you tell us a little bit about you as a third-generation manufacturer and how you wound up getting into Defensewerx?
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me. So I grew up in Grand Blanc, Michigan, and went to Michigan State University after graduation. I worked for several Fortune 500 companies for over 15 years. In 1997, I bought the family business from my father.
Wow.
Which was founded by my grandfather in 1948.
There's the third generation.
There you go. So, and actually my daughter works there now.
Oh, wow.
Which is 4th generation.
Right. That's your exit strategy.
So that's exactly right. So
yeah.
We used to do molds and dies and jigs and fixtures, and then back when the auto downturn happened, we switched to supporting prototypes, low volume R&D, and I got into a lot of military R&D.
Oh, wow. So there's what led you into the R&D.
Absolutely. And then in 2001, actually to backtrack a little bit, I started testifying on the federal level about the importance of manufacturing, workforce development, and technology to the economy.
They're the big things for us, workforce development and, new products and services and getting a job done.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty good stuff. Tell us more about the mission that you're in with the Defensewerx, and I know some of it, but as a 30-year retired military guy, I'm very excited about it, and particularly in the technical flying discipline. We were talking, my background was electronic combat at the time, which is now cyber warfare. So I'm really interested in the kind of stuff you're doing in that R&D cycle. So why don't you tell the folks a little bit about that?
Okay, so we were founded in 2012 under a partnership intermediary agreement with Air Force Research Lab Munitions Directorate. We were formed as a 501c3, and in our capacity we do multiple things, including tech transfer, tech transition, workforce development. We develop innovation collaboration environments. So we do everything that helps support the military to accelerate technologies they develop within, or we tech scout without, and then we help grow those things that help accelerate commercialization.
Well, how's the workforce development work into that? I hadn't heard that aspect.
Yes, well, we fund STEM education.
Okay.
We've got a full-time person that works with FIRST Robotics and everything that helps get the kids interested in STEM careers. And then we do training for current and future workforce.
Okay,
well,
that's part of your 501c3 job?
Correct.
Well, I learned something new there, and that's another way that we can collaborate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that a little bit more.
Would be happy to.
And Roy, we've known each other for a while now. You're on a variety of boards, from national down into middle school boards, and I don't know how you do it with all your time, but how do you get involved with this, and what do you see as your role on the Defensewerx board?
Well, I've known Laurie for a good number of years as we worked together on some teams at our National Trade Association in the past. And when she took over as executive director, she contacted me because she was moving to Florida. And so she came down, and you and I and some others got together and tried to help show her the manufacturing network that there was in this area that could help Defensewerx and Softworx meet their missions and that sort of thing. And then she asked me to be on the board, and the rest of the board confirmed me. And we actually had our first meeting this week at Softworx. And I think that the majority of the board is very connected with the defense industry in that, where I'm not necessarily, but I bring a manufacturing component to it that doesn't exist with any of the other board members, and as well as having the local network here to be able to help them with their mission.
Well, even with your manufacturing job, you do a lot of defense work, not necessarily the kind that they're in right now, but you still do a lot of defense work in that capacity.
Yeah,
too.
we're not prime contractors, but we make parts that go on military aircraft, on the missile systems, got parts up in space, and
yep.
So yeah, we're heavily
Yeah, so-
heavily involved in it.
So it's not your first rodeo by,
No,
by
not
any
at all.
by any imagination. Let's talk a little bit more about Softworx right here in Ybor City.
Yeah.
And you know what a lot of people don't realize that right here in Tampa we have our two major warfighting commands, Central Command and Special Operations Command. And as I understand it, what those guys do is they work directly with those commands and find out their requirements and basically try to bring new technology to the fore by cutting short that R&D cycle.
Absolutely. So just, I didn't touch on this, but our headquarters are out of Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And out of Fort Walton Beach, we support Eglin, AFRL, 7th Special Forces, and a lot of different folks there.
I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, and then we are also standing up FSMA, which is in Las Vegas, and that is big Air Force, or supporting the Secretary of the Air Force. So down in Ybor, we support SOCOM and CENTCOM, but we also work with a lot of other joint, across the joint environment. I mean, we work with the Navy, we work with a lot of different commands come through Softworx. So our mission, our primary mission, is anything that helps support the warfighter.
Right.
And anything that accelerates getting technology into the hands of the warfighter.
Right.
So,
And just advance that R&D cycle.
correct.
Right.
Correct. So we bring in subject matter experts, we do tech sprints, we do prize challenges, we do anything and everything we can to get to the best technology and try to get it into the hands of the warfighter as fast as possible.
Pretty cool. So if I get it, what happens is Softworx gets these requirements in, and they'll go ahead and study it, see what they can do, and in many cases develop a one-off system to do that, get that field tested by the combat requirer, and if that comes back and it looks like it's something that's going to be very useful, that's when we may be able to step in and help them in the production cycle by lining up our local manufacturers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I mean, usually we don't compete with the manufacturers. We just try to get it to the point of knowing what that prototype's going to look like.
Right.
And then we work with the outside vendors in areas that we can't produce, and we just have limited capabilities in-house. And but yeah, absolutely. The key is commercialization. Down the road, when you need to produce it, you need
Right.
to connect with your manufacturers.
Now you mentioned you have limited capabilities, but I've been down there, and some of the capabilities you have, they may be limited, but they blow your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, it's some pretty
yeah,
good stuff.
absolutely.
Can you mention a couple of those that may not be classified that you were talking about?
Some of the projects that we've worked on.
Yeah.
So for instance, we worked recently on a project. One of the special operators went on a mission and really could have used their dog. However, they had to jump from such a high altitude, they were unable to bring the dog on the mission. So an oxygen mask was developed for the dog.
For the dog.
Yeah, there's flying hoverboards. There's we're working on a lot of UAV stuff. We just had a very big event recently where we invited in 400 and some UAV folks.
Exactly.
And so a lot of different projects. And the key is, the more you work with the warfighter, the more you know exactly what's needed in the field and in theater. So that's what we do at Softworx.
Yeah, each time I go down there, they make sure to take me through your drone operation, and some of the collection stuff you're doing is pretty sophisticated.
Yeah,
Pretty
absolutely.
sophisticated stuff. It's pretty cool. Well, given all of that, and in our community here, and you know, the mission of Softworx and all that coming through, and Roy on your board, how's that fitting for us? How do you see that fit evolving? We got a pretty good community here that can back you up if we do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, we're not manufacturers, don't want to be manufacturers.
Right.
We need to work in, you know, conjunction with the manufacturing sector.
Right.
And again, everybody thinks technology just happens, but you know, you need manufacturing behind it to bring it to market.
You bet. And Roy, how do you see that? How do you see that evolving now that you had your first board meeting, from the way we're structured and the way we try to, you know, bring manufacturers together to get into that? How do you see that we can help?
Well, I mean, I pretty much what we talked about already, and pretty much what Laurie said. You know, when they need capability that they don't have, we can help them find it. And when they bring a technology to where it's ready for production, you know, whether it's limited or whatever, you know, we have the network to be able to find the right person to do it.
Yeah, we'll do that. And you know, we've been we do a monthly newsletter to about 500 people so far, and we like to grow that. But everything I get from your Softworx people, I put in there to make sure, and your drone event and things like that, we market that as much as we can to try to get as many people out there as we can.
Great.
So that's pretty good stuff.
Well, 90% of the patents and most of the technology comes out of manufacturing. So there's probably a lot of manufacturers out there that have great ideas.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so they need
And it's
to
get those connections.
check out Softworx and bring them to us.
Well, it's interesting because the theme of tonight's fifth anniversary is collaboration. So that's what I'll be talking about a little bit more, is the need to collaborate and operate as a team, and and get some of those silos behind us so we can really advance the state of the art.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Laurie, thank you for your time, and
Thank
Roy,
you.
thanks as always for being with us. And
My pleasure.
we'll see you at the dinner table.